I am Ngozi Akinyele. Welcome to the platform 11.0.
Well, let me first of all thank everybody for coming out here today to help us and participate in this vision. Let me also thank all of the speakers for making out time to be here. I do know this is a great sacrifice, and it's because of your love for this country. Now, what I'm going to do just quickly for about 10 minutes is just to give an overview of what the platform is all about and why we are having this program. Now, the platform really was conceived when we felt that, I think it was the 1st of May, about 7 years ago, and we felt that Nigeria had moved from a military style of government a couple of years back and had gone into a democracy. And so we felt that back then, when we do Labor Day, there'll be protests and all of that. And we felt that we are coming to a place of a free market economy, a place where people wanted to start building corporations, entrepreneurship. And so we decided to organize a meeting round about that. Then we got to 1st of October that year and decided also we should have a national development fair. So the platform really is designed to be an educational platform. We believe in a democracy that is in a democratic system of governance. The most important part of that system is the participation of the civil populace in the art of governance. And that power, or the power of that populace, is determined by how educated and how informed they are. And when we talk about education, we don't just speak about formal education, even though that is foundational. But being educated and informed about how they can effectively participate in governance, understanding how to effect changes within the legal framework of a society, understanding the institutions and how they work. Also, we believe that people ought to understand how to learn from history and therefore have a basis to interpret what is going on within their environment at that particular point in time. So the purpose of the platform is to fill a knowledge gap, to be a place where that kind of knowledge and information will be shared, made available to the general populace in a way that is accessible to every single person. We believe that the real genius of being in a democratic system is the direct involvement of people in governance. And now we know that there are central concepts of actions in human affairs that operate regardless of the scene or time, which means that there are central concepts there of action, there are modes and ways of behaving, regardless of where you live, regardless of the time. And this concept make the difference between a realistic person who is seeking for improvement and just a rhetorical one. Now, I believe that people, let's say in this country, we can classify them in more classes than these, but let me just talk about 4 categories of people. First of all, we need to understand that people react to a chaotic world in different ways. The first set of people will panic at the chaos that they see in their environment and therefore decide to run away from it and look for some safer haven. They rationalize that the system will eventually collapse anyway on its own, right? And through rot and corruption, and therefore what they do is that they cop out of that entire system and they leave. The second set of people go into what we term a sure loser confrontational attitude. It doesn't really affect the change, but it gives the feeling of at least we tried, and then after some time they fall by the wayside. Then we find a third set, and these are people that find society quite overwhelming and have withdrawn, even though they will remain within that society, but they have simply decided just to do their own thing. Let us simply survive within the system. They have resigned their lives to be determined by other people. To lose our identity as citizens of a country is but one step from losing your identity really as a person. So if you resign and you just say, I'm going to do my own thing, you are getting closer to losing your identity as being a person on this earth. And people react to frustration basically by not doing anything at all. Now the fourth set of people are those who, against all odds, have still thrived in the midst of it all. They have been able to make some measure of success out of their lives, and they have built some things. So those people, I just want to say something that is in the good book, the scripture, that the master gave talents to 3 people, 1 5, another 10, another 2 1. He came back for his talents. 1 from 5 had gotten under 5, another from 10 had gotten under 10. And hear what he said to those who had thrived through their own personal entrepreneurship within that system, had succeeded. He said, go and rule over my cities, which means they were called from a place of personal productivity to a place of public service, to take their ability and use it in the public service for the good of all. Because these are people that are pragmatic, that have operated within the system, that understand the system, and if they decide to serve with the knowledge and experience they have the capacity to transform it. The idea of democracy is the importance and the worth of the individual, and the faith that he or she has that they can create a society where they can achieve as much potential as possible. So we must realize that as people, we cannot be free unless we are willing to sacrifice some of our interests to guarantee the freedom of others. The price of personal freedom is an ongoing pursuit, or the ongoing pursuit of the common good of all. A French thought leader once warned that unless individual citizens were regularly involved in the action of governing themselves, self-government will soon pass from the scene. And I just want to close by saying something to people here and to viewers that I listened to. I think it was an ex-president of America who came to speak. This was probably 1980. And he had lost the primaries for his party. And so he came to give his speech there at the convention. And he said that he had a dream and he saw 50 years from that time that if people were given, something, and to look back to their generation, they will ask the question whether they actually faced and surmounted the challenges of their own generation. And what I want to say today is that in 50 years from today, there will be Nigerians in this country that will look back at us, and there will be a challenge that defines every generation. And the question that they will ask us is whether we confronted that challenge and whether we defeated that challenge. Whether we were satisfied with riding good cars on bad roads, building houses, good houses, without power supply, or we decided to do something about it. Welcome to Platform 11.0.